Hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I got the horrible robot zombie noises again, which is terrible. I'm gonna make you all listen to them for a moment though, because I've been sat here accumulating zombies for XP to repair my tools. And if I restart the thing to get sound good, I will lose all these zombies. So I'll kill these quickly so you guys don't have to listen. Oh my god. Ah, what horrible noises. It is a really, really strange thing. It's terrible. So I'll just kill this crop of zombies and I'll restart. Because I need the stuff. I don't know why it's been doing this. It was sounding fine. And then the first time I plug my headphones into the controller on a day, it does this. I think it might be the old controller. I'm going to switch back to the Series S controller when I find the proper USB cable and give that a go. How are you all? Are you well? Are you happy? We won't be listening to this for too long. Are you having a good day? I'm having a good day. I'm reading my bullet journal book again. About 2 years ago, I bought the book on bullet journaling. And this was before I was looking into the ADHD stuff and organizational things. And I stuck with it for a bit, and then I was like, this is not really... I don't know, I bounced off it like I have done in the past. But then I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I know a lot more about how my brain works these last couple of years. I think I'll get back into it. So I've been doing that this morning. And I bumped in and I started reading the book. And then, like, paragraph 1, page 2, the author says, I started working on this after I was diagnosed with ADHD. I was like, what? I didn't pick up on this last time at all. It's interesting. Once you start looking at this, it turns up everywhere. It's weird. Hello to Lou's Corner. How you doing, my friend? Welcome. Hello to Spiral Cut. How are you also doing, my other friend? Welcome. Hope you guys are happy today. Didn't do a Need for Speed stream last night. I apologize for that. I meant to, but I ran out of time. I was doing some transcribing work and it went over. And it's partly my fault. And then I was watching Thunderbirds, which I'm rewatching Thunderbirds at the moment. And I was having a really good time. I was watching the episode where Alan and Grandma, which will not make a ton of sense if you've never seen Thunderbirds, are, they're on the bridge. And they can't move, because if they move, a bomb will go off, and he has to retell the story of how he got there while waiting to be rescued. Which was one of my favorite episodes as a kid. I'm just trying to get these gold bars. Pick up the gold, no, not the flour, not the cobblestone, not the rotten flesh, not the other, there we go, the gold bars! But this time I've put down something else I needed. There we go, blimmin' heck. You're giving me a hard time there. Yes, I've been watching Thunderbirds, and today I'm going to watch Thunderbirds 6, because I don't think I've ever seen that film before. I discovered there was a second... I remember Thunderbirds Are Go, the movie, and I did not realize there was a second film. And, yeah, I've been enjoying those old Jerry Anderson shows lately, which I always used to like as a kid. Loved those. They were my favorite TV shows. And then, yeah, lately, I've been really enjoying revisiting them. Are they carrots? I could take a bunch of carrots for food, couldn't I? I thought I had some potatoes in here, and I was going to roast them up. It's weird, because rotten flesh, I've been eating it lately just because rather than stocking up on other food. You know what, I'll take some carrots, because carrots, they're not an ideal food, but I have a bunch of them. I just have a ton of carrots, apparently. So I'll take some carrots, and then maybe when I roll out here, what I'll do is I will, I'll try and keep an eye out for some pigs to cook up and things. So we'll get a little repair on this pickaxe, a little repair on the shovel. I won't keep you guys down here too long today. I really don't need too much. Let's get one more notch on the pick. I want to get it a little greener. Whistling notches up. Loose Car says, how are you, Owen? I'm pretty good, yeah, how are you? Hello to Minecraft Dispenser. Hello to Rendell Lloyd, who says, good night, it's night in my country. I hope you have a good time. Sleep well. Hello to Trishanth, welcome. Please, please don't come in my chat and give me orders. That's a very weird thing to do. Alright, let's eat a little carrot. I mean, I'll be through these carrots in no time, because you do not get a lot of health from them, but I have a bunch. That's the reason. Okay, I want to get one more notch upon the pick, and then I'll switch to the shovel. There we go, that'll do. We're still working on that big road today. We probably don't have too much left to do. I'm trying to keep the stream sort of just short and casual at the moment. We'll be jumping back in to hunting the creepers at night for some TNT blocks. We're blasting the other side now. I'm nearly done with that last stretch of road. Then we're going to put the path down. Then we're going to build a rail. And then it's done, pretty much. There's things to build either end to make it look a little nicer. But for the most part, I want to get the road done. And then I'm going to build a house halfway down the road, because that's going to be my new sort of living spot. And then I'm going to go back to the village and get some mending, basically, is the plan. Minecraft Dispenser says, I remember when he had a pyramid with a lucky subscriber name on it, like more than 100. It was a really big pyramid. That actually got to the point where it slowed the world down. When you looked at the signs, the frame rate actually dropped, which was crazy. And then, that was on the first world. We've had pyramids since, but that was the one that got really, really big. And then we had, it got so big when we moved on from that world, I had to make sure it stayed smaller in worlds after that. But when I got the PS5, I went back to that world, because PS5 runs games at their maximum, really. It's got all the power of the PS5. And I went back to that world, and while it did not grind to a halt, because it was really bad, it was almost impossible to look at the pyramid. That's how bad it was. The processing speed of it was just terrible. It still dropped the frame rate on the PS5. Not as much. It was much more playable, much more tolerable, but even the brute force power of the PS5 could not stop that pyramid from slowing down, which I thought was pretty funny. There were that many signs. There were that many signs on the pyramid by the end. Micro Dispenser says, I always remember trying to get on it, but never succeeded at the end. Well, I mean, the truth is, because you can only be on once per layer, if people were in often enough, everybody pretty much got on in the end. Because we only had about 20 active viewers, so it was, yeah. But you had to pretty much be there regularly. Hello to Fanny Plays, how you doing? Loose Connor says, I remember that. Just looking at it from a distance would lag it massively. Yes, and then when you turned around, because in Minecraft, an object only exists if you're looking at it, the frame rate would just, it would just smooth up all nice like. Because it was, if you were facing the Enterprise, it was nice. And then when you turn around, it would gradually chug. Which is really funny. That's the only reason it was tolerable. If it had been that the frame rate was awful whenever you were in the vicinity, I would have actually had to change it. I would have had to change it. I would have had to take signs off it until it eased up. Because it just would have been so bad. But fortunately, you could kind of maneuver around it, not looking at it by the end. That's what you had to do. It was pretty funny. It really made me laugh that that's how that worked. And also, when you'd get onto the pyramid itself, it was okay. Because you'd only be looking at, like, a wall. But yeah. It was pretty amusing. One day, I'll fire that world up on PS5, and I'll show you guys that it still does not run at a perfect, silky smooth frame rate, even on a PS5. Which is really funny to me. Really, really funny. See if we can get that helmet. Might as well get it turned into nuggets if we can. Oh, nuggets. I'd rather have chicken nuggets. See, I rhymed nuggets with nuggets, like a poetic genius. How are you guys today? What are you up to this fine, what is it, Wednesday morning? Very rarely do you have a fine Wednesday morning. I'm in a bit of an in-between period at the moment where there isn't much going on until Like, my girlfriend's waiting for her second vaccine. I'm waiting for my first vaccine. I'm waiting for my ADHD assessment. That's in like 6 weeks. I'm saving to get a new guitar, but I'm just taking a little bit each week for that. So that's just a thing. I gotta get my passport application's done. I went through a period where I had a ton of stuff on, and then today just nothing. Right at the moment, I just have absolutely nothing on, and it's weird, right? Like I have nothing on the horizon. My passport's done. I can't do anything. Like, my girlfriend and I were hoping to buy a house next year, but we can't really do that until other things have cleared up, you know? So I'm in this in-betweeny space, which a lot of COVID was spent like that, but at least there was kind of stuff. Mass Effect's coming out in 2 weeks. I'm back to my regular work routine. I don't know, it just feels like, for the first time in ages, it feels like I have nothing not to do. I got plenty to do, but I don't have anything, like, nothing coming to be stressed about, nothing I have to be on top of. I just feel very like, yep, that's done. All is right. Everything's okay. I could just leave that. So I'm in this kind of weird thing where I'm like, what should I do? I need something to stress over. I don't have anything to worry about at the moment. I'm in a nice little in-between period. Something will be coming along soon, I'm sure, to add to my frets. But as it is, I can just watch old puppet shows and that. Do you know what I should do in Minecraft? I should build a Thunderbird 2. I would love that. That'd be so good. Hello to Sloppy Squidward, who says, "Hey, Owen, do you remember me?" No. Sorry. Loose Connor says, that was like around 2 years ago, I think. It's crazy to think it's been that long. It was a while ago. It was the same world that had, like, Starbug, the Millennium Falcon, and things like that, and when I went through that period of building stuff. Which is kind of a weird period, because that was towards that tail end, and it's the reason why I ended up switching a lot of worlds and things. I went through this kind of period where I was like, I just don't know what I'm doing with YouTube. Which is always like a thing with me. I never know what I'm doing unless something's explicitly like flying away successfully. I'm like, what do I do? Do I just keep doing this? And that was very much a time period where I was feeling like that. So I tried a lot of new things. I made a lot of different kinds of videos. I did the Sunday with Sub streams. I did a few more filmed streams. I did the Minecraft recaps. All sorts of things. Premieres, stuff like that. Just trying different ideas. Trying to settle into things. I don't know if I ever really kind of came to a conclusion. Minecraft Dispenser says, the last time I saw him playing on that server, he was building a train tunnel. Well, this is not a server. I'm trying to remember if I've ever built a train tunnel. Loose Car says, I'm doing good, feeling a lot less sleepy than last week. That is awesome. I'm glad. What is your favorite country? Well, I've only ever been to one country. This one. Sorry, I've got post-it notes sticking over my chat here. I've been trying to use post-it notes. I'm doing a thing at the moment where I'm trying to get my... I'm trying to get myself a little bit more organized as best I can. Like, when I think something, write it down, put it on a post-it note, get it out of my head so it's out of my remembering, and put it in front of myself. And at the moment, I have all my post-it notes stuck to, like, my... screen, basically. But now they're blocking my chat. I need a better surround. Luzcon says, oh my god, Starbug, I kind of remember me requesting that. You were very into Red Dwarf for a while there, I seem to remember. Minecraft Dispenser says, I have to go, just wanted to pop in, because the last time I was here you were playing Doom Eternal on release. Yes, that was a while ago. But it hasn't really been, like, big new games since that. Do you know that was the last time I properly went out of the house? I've been outside the house, like, for an exercise and stuff, but we've been doing online shopping and things. The last time I went to a store to buy a thing, around other people and stuff, because we've been really good, because we have reasons to be, was when I went and bought Doom Eternal, because Game in the UK broke the street date. So things were getting pretty COVID-y, and I was trying to be careful, but then I found out it was getting a retail release 3 days earlier than the digital release here. So I went out to buy Doom Eternal, and that's the last time I've properly like been out to the shops to buy something. I went to the post office a couple of weeks ago, but yeah. Bear says, I remember the Enterprise from Star Trek. That was a massive build, and he even made a long video of that when he built it. Yeah, I'd like to get back into building stuff like that. I haven't really... This last year, it's been... Things on the channel have been a little bit different, and doing Minecraft Daily again, we've been getting to see a lot of old familiar faces, and it's made me realize how much I like getting back to that. I need to get back to it, really. I need to get my, my head back on working on stuff like that. But it's been a thing. It was the last sort of 2 years pre-COVID and stuff was kind of just a weird mental health period for me where I was just in this really, just this odd place where I was like, what would I do? I'd say what it was. I love being a YouTuber. But at that time, YouTube and the internet in general had been getting more and more toxic and confrontational, and it is still like that. And I'm not like that, right? I don't like confrontation. I don't like stuff like that. And I started to get this thing in my head, which was, if the day ever came where I just couldn't do this anymore, right? Like, if it got too big and it got toxic and I had to deal with, like, harassment and stuff like that, or... You know what I mean? Something like, what would I do? You know, where would I go next? And I started to feel really weird about that, and it made me, in a way, a little distanced from YouTube in a lot of ways. But it's still my job, right? I still have to do it well. And I feel like I'm coming out the other side of that. I feel like I'm starting to finally, like, be like, you know what? I will always be okay. I'm at that point now where I'll always sort of sort something out. I think that Enterprise video, by the way, is still on the channel. I could be wrong. Bear says, yes, it was a time-lapse, and even then it was a time-lapse video that was around 2 hours, I think. 3, I believe. It was a very long video. I did put it on. I don't expect people to ever watch it. Let me see if it's still on here. Because it is an interesting video, I think. Of the whole build. I might have made it private. No, here we go. It's still public. It is 3.5 hours. I'll post this in the chat for people who'd like to revisit it. I should kind of make sure it's easily visible on the front page or something. Oh, hello, Sinister Minister, and goodbye, Sinister Minister. But yeah, it was a fun build, that build, because it's not normally the type of build I do. People who've been here for a long time will know I'm mostly building like little practical things. But it's something I'd like to get back to doing. I think Thunderbird 2 would be a really fun one to build, because I love Thunderbird 2. I do really love Thunderbird 2. Although Thunderbird 2, none of the Thunderbird stuff is as big as this. I'm rewatching this video now. It has 2,000 views. That's weird. I wonder how recent any of those views are. Like, I wonder if people are still watching it. It's had 3 views in the last 48 hours. 2,000 views total. How many views has it had in the last year? 850. So that's not too bad. People do watch it, I guess. It's got a lot of watch time, actually. It's been watched for 94 hours. Okay, that's not that much for 2,000 views. Nobody's watching all of it. Let's see, the average view duration is 2.45 minutes. That's really funny. But what's really interesting is, if you look at your YouTube analytics for a video, you can see how many people watch at different times. And what's really interesting is it starts off really high and then people drop down. So, about 2 minutes in, people stop watching. Fair enough. I would never expect people to watch a 3.5 hour video. And then, you know, a little bit. Some people watch the whole thing, not too many, blah, 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 blah. But around about the 2.5 hour bit, it starts climbing again. So people obviously skip ahead to... I mean, let's see what... Oops, sorry, that's the public domain music. So what happens in about 2.5 hours? People obviously click around to get a look and see what it's looking at. Around about 2.5 hours, it starts to massively increase how much we have done. And I think people sort of get more interested in the build there. And then it gets higher and higher and higher towards the end of the video. People skipping ahead, hoping to get a look of it. And see how the last sort of shape of it goes. Looking back, I left some stuff in I shouldn't have really left in, like changing the size of the saucer section and things. But, yeah, it was a good video. And then I don't think you actually get that whole 3.5 hour video, and I don't think you get a proper look at it until, like, the last minute. Yeah, all this I still should have edited a little bit more. And then when you look at this video, you realize there's actually still a bed on that, on the top of the Enterprise. Because I didn't demolish it. I left the bed that I was sleeping on up there. And then I made sure that we got footage of that Enterprise at night. Because that Enterprise build, it was a fun build. But when you let it roll to nighttime, it looked so much better. Like, it looked okay during the day. But then when you let the dark completely obscure out the light and let the... so it looked light against the dark with the illuminated lights and stuff. It looked so good. I'm still really proud of that build. I think that was a great build. Genuinely. I really think that was a terrific, an absolutely terrific Minecraft build. I don't know if I could even build like that today. I don't know if I'd have the patience or the whatever, you know? But, yeah. That was a really fun build. I was really fond of it. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think I captured that particular era of Star Trek ship. That particular version of the Enterprise. I think it looked like it in a way that I was really happy with. Hello to Barney lol, how you doing? Please don't type like 3 messages all at once saying hello. If I don't see you straight away and no one else has replied and your messages are still right there on the front page, I'm not going to see it any faster, right? If you type it 3, it's not going to help you get spotted even a little bit. I don't know why people do that. When they go into the type, hello, 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 hello. Like, I can sort of understand it. If you go into a chat and the chat's really busy, right? Even then, it's still a dick move, right? There really is no need to do that. Okay, I'm going to get out of here now, by the way. But when the chat's not even busy, there is so little reason to do that. It just makes the chat annoying. Right? Right? Like, that's the only thing it achieves. So yeah, please don't do that, people. It's completely unnecessary. Okay, so I'm going to now run all the way to the other end of our road. We don't have a rail yet. When I get out of here, I'm gonna have to properly set up a rail. I'm gonna head through on foot. I'm not gonna skip the night first because we're nearly at the end of the other day anyway. And if I head out this way, we might bump into a few creepers. I got 36 little blobs of gunpowder. Little blobs of gunpowder, that's a phrase. I'll probably turn these into TNT straight away and try and blast down the other side as we have been doing. Because why the hell not? And yeah. We'll start digging. I really should probably finish this today. I have not been particularly pushing to finish it. I might not. I might be like, meh, whatevs. But I really do want to get maybe, even if I don't finish the blasting and the sides finished today, I think I'm going to start laying the path down as we go. Because the path laying is like, we've got enough grass now. That's done. The grass has grown all the way down the road. Everything's kind of set up there. I'll probably, if I can... Yeah, I'll do that today. I'll lay down the path, and the path's gonna be maybe like 3 blocks wide, I think, with the occasional block here or there. I want it to look a little uneven, basically. So I'll show you. This is the beginning of the path. So I want to kind of... yeah, I'll tell you what, I won't like, I'll leave a block there. Because like I say, I want it to look occasionally kind of ragged. I won't try and do it 3 blocks wide, because I want to keep walking, basically. There we go. That'll do. Yeah, so I want to keep walking. I don't want to like have to veer over to that other side, which is going to make this whole thing take longer. So I'm laying down this section of path here, and I'm going to every so often just leave a gap, because I want this to be kind of 3 blocks wide, but a little uneven. I don't want it to look too perfect, is the idea. Because I want it to look kind of, as much as you can in Minecraft at these proportions, I want it to look kind of naturally beaten and stuff. And then we'll walk back the other way. That'll do. And then our next step is going to be to plant some trees. And what we might end up doing is... Okay, there's gaps here. So we're only going to be doing 1 strip, which means we might end up walking up and down this road multiple times today. The middle strip is not going to leave gaps, because it doesn't need to. And then we're going to lay the rail. In fact, I'll do that today. I'll do the rail bit, and then if the blasting doesn't happen, these torches need to go, but I'll do those later. If we don't finish that side, that doesn't matter. We can kind of do that later. We've done the most of this road. And I actually think occasionally splitting up the kind of work you're doing between episodes can make an episode a little bit more fun just as a break, even if it's not as methodical. This road, however, has been a really interesting project, I think. I mean, look at how much we've gotten done here. How much ground we cut through. And then the idea is we'll plant trees. The rail's going to go all the way along here. Which, by the way, thinking about it, I don't actually know if you can lay a rail on the patted path. It might break it, but that's okay anyway, I think. If it turns out that we need... if it turns out that that'll destroy the patted path, sure, it might be a little bit of a waste of time. I don't think so, though. Really gotta stop doing that. Now, the reason I waited until... the reason I waited until the grass was all the way spread along here to do the patted path down, even though you don't need the grass to do that, is because I needed the grass to grow. There we go. I needed the grass to grow down the whole path, and if I'd run down the whole road, and if I'd run the path down there first, what would have happened was the grass wouldn't have been able to grow across the path, and it would have slowed down the entire process, really. Perfect. Because we'd have had to basically grow 2 whole separate streams of grass, rather than have them connect and feed into each other. So it just made sense to do this last, basically. So I'll run this all the way to the end, and then I'll go back and do the other side. Broaden the paths with gaps. Try not to pay too much attention to... Hello to Brody McDowell, who says, I only just remembered that your channel exists. Haven't watched you for about 2 years. Oh, well, welcome back. We are seeing a lot of old faces lately since I've been doing this daily again, because I hadn't been doing it for a bit. Ah, there's a little bit of a shift here that we need to get right. The road sort of shifts, which is a little awkward, but I think for the most part it'll be okay. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of old faces again. It's nice. Feel free to drop in and say hello. Sometimes it doesn't feel like I actually have it as wide as it's supposed to be, but I actually do. We have got it pretty much all the way down here. And then here we go, the last strip. We should keep an eye here because this is... One, two, three. 2, 3. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I just said the thing about the grass spreading, but we're already set right from the center here, so it'll be okay. Hello to Autorado Water. How you doing? Do I still do the pyramid game? No, I don't. Not anymore. And you can see here that this side isn't done. This is the difference in effect. It looks much more artificial. God, please tell me this is going to get me the whole way. Oh, I don't think it is. Okay, that's fine. As long as we have some grass growing in from the side. Yeah, this is what happens when you start one job where the other's not 100% finished yet. Let's get a little bit more. Yeah, let's take them from here where we're going to need to. Okay, that should do. Alright, there we go. That should spread from that side, because we've got enough grass over on that side now. Still got to break down those. This is what we're going to be using the TNT for later. I'll pat down the other side away from that one, just to give a chance for the grass to come in a little thicker. Okay, so we got one continuous line. This is the line the rail's going to go down. There's going to be one little bit where the rail has kind of an awkward transition. Now we just pat all the way back and occasionally just leave a little gap. Try and keep it as random as possible where the gaps are going to go. Because the idea is to make the path feel very naturally uneven. As much as one can. Okay, I'm going to skip the night actually, because I'm not going creeper hunting just yet. And then we'll go all the way on the other side, and this should be the rest of that path done. Then we can lay down the rail. And then that's most of this project finished. We'll have to lay down powered rails. If I could do the whole thing in powered rails, I would. But I think I'll probably do what I did last time, which is to go the whole way, and then to just intersperse powered rails at intervals. Which I think is probably the better way of doing it, rather than worrying too much about like long strips of powered rail. You want powered rail on there because you want it to have a little bit of that powered rail speed. But it's not like the olden days in Minecraft where powered rails would get you actually properly fast. In fact, it doesn't even feel like you can get fast minecarts anymore. Even going downhill, I think we've lost a lot of that. Which is a shame, because it means you can't even make like the classic roller coasters anymore. But I guess I don't know why they changed that. I do not know why they kind of gutted the powered rails and just made it not a thing anymore. That they would work like that. I am not a fan. I liked the fast powered rails. I would take them back if I could. I could be patting down that other side, but like I say, I needed to... Ideally, we needed to have kind of time for the grass to grow. Alright, here we go. So I am going to have to widen that bit of dirt there, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Wild horsies! Gotta make sure I don't hit them with my shovel. You don't see the baby horses much in little family groups like that, do you? It's so weird when you're playing Minecraft and just the weird mob algorithm results in you sort of feeling like you're seeing some genuine nature. Like, oh, look! The majestic Minecraft block horses are out. It's mating season. Damn it. I veered off track. That's fine. That'll replenish in time. You know, when you go like this, and you don't have to destroy every wall along the way, this place almost doesn't seem... This road almost doesn't seem as long. Hello to Autumn Jeffrey says, why did you delete all the Minecraft episodes? Yeah, I don't keep my streams public after streaming them anymore. There were a lot of reasons. I'm not going to go into it all again because I've explained this quite a few times. But A, it keeps the channel less cluttered, so people don't watch the streams after the fact a lot. I know there are a lot of people who... I'm discovering there are more people than I thought who did that, but it's not a lot. A very, very small amount of my views came from that, and so it let me put the stuff that does generate views for a long time front and center on the channel. Now I could have done that and just kept them unlisted, but the truth is, I started to feel like streams, because as long as you distribute something on the channel, you're responsible for it. And a lot of those stuff were just off the cuff, long, rambly streams. Sometimes I either can't stand by things I said, like my opinions have changed, or every time I say this, I make this point every time. Every time I say this, it sounds like I've gone and hidden some, like, period as, like, a terrible racist or something like that. And it's not like that. It's that, as long as you're going to distribute it on your channel, that work represents you. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to move to... If it was a live stream, and my idea is I'm not making it for people to watch again in that idea, I'm making it live at the time, and that's what it is. Once it's live, that's it. It doesn't need to stay public. And then I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about if it represents my work or me well. I don't have to worry about if I said something that might be identifiable, or, you know what I mean? Lots of different things. And so, most of it is just my personal comfort with what I put out there. What I feel happy having. Like I just don't feel as happy having a huge library of searchable conversations online anymore. Not because I think, oh no, they're gonna find something in there and cancel me. It's not like that at all. It's just a case of, you never know what the future will bring to what you feel comfortable putting out to the world. And if I put a tutorial out there, it's out, and it's a good video, and it helps people, and I like it. But if I have a stream out there from my archives, episode 763, where I was in a really bad mood that day, and I went out and I streamed, and maybe I was a bit rude to someone in the chat, or I just didn't present an idea well, or I explained something badly, or you know what I mean? And there might not be any of those, but I don't know if there are any of those, and it's just a change in how I thought about my work and how I thought about YouTube and what I wanted to keep public, really. So, that's why I changed to a system where it's more like the radio. You hear it when it's live or it's gone, I know radio shows keep tapes and archives, but I still have them if I need them. I just, that's why. They aren't coming back. People often ask me if they're coming back, or if they can have. One guy asked me if I could whitelist him so he alone could watch them, and no, nothing like that. They're gone basically as far as the public is concerned. One day I might go through them and see about maybe doing highlights and stuff for a different kind of video, but yeah, I just didn't want a huge archive of every, 2-3 hours of every morning for the last 4 years, every half-formed idea, every, some stupid opinions, some good opinions, some smart things I've said, some dumb things I've said, but I came to the opinion that life isn't really supposed to be like that, in a way, basically. That some things should be said and let go. Yeah. And as I say, every time I say this, it always makes me sound like I'm talking about, like, offensive things. But I'm not, really. I'm talking about sometimes days when I was just not in a good mood and I wasn't as nice to people as I should be. Those I know those exist because I'm a big grump. But, but, you know, just not very well thought out conversations. Like this one right now, right? We're having a conversation right now because you asked me, right? And I'm explaining. I'm just kind of having a ramble while I'm digging. Nobody 10 years from now gets any value from seeing this conversation. Me choosing to distribute it serves no purpose. So it's like, it's more of a, I want everything that's live right now serves a purpose, but everything that's going to be on there public forever, deliberately, I want to be more of some kind of substance, even if it's just a Minecraft tutorial, you know? So that's the gist of it. Hello to Terrence the Crispy Chicken. Hello to Dokin Nikado, who says, hello, do you plan to start new rubrics? Could you explain what you mean by that? I think I know what a rubric is, right? It's like a... My only working definition of rubric is like on an assessment form, you know? Like a metric. When people say by any metric, you can put rubric in there, right? I don't know. Rubric's one of those words I don't feel like I've ever had a good hold on. Am I on PC? No, I'm playing on an Xbox Series S right now. I do own Java, although I have to say I don't remember what my login details are or anything. But I do own it, I just don't use it really. Dokin says, types of videos. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker. Oh no, it's okay. No, I think that makes sense. I don't think that's bad English. I think it's just not very common usage in that context. But I think the sentence makes sense. Maybe. I go back and forth on that. So I've gone back and forth on YouTube for a long time about how I feel about it and stuff. Because I've been doing this a while, and I think it's kind of natural to feel like that. But maybe. I'm always looking for something that'll be a new kind of direction with it, but that's partly because I'm always looking for something new. But maybe one day. Right now, I think all I'm trying to do is get the streaming back, and then get my tutorial habit back. If that makes sense. So less a new type of video as getting myself back in the mode for working with the old type. Oh, thank you, Terrence. I always love hearing those tutorials help people, because it's a different type of content for me. It still feels different. I like making those tutorials, because I like making tutorials that are really, really basic beginner's tutorials, but quickly. See, one of the problems I had with finding help on YouTube for Minecraft, my personal bugbear, is, at the risk of criticizing my fellow YouTubers, there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube that are just lies. Now, I have a tutorial that people have accused of being just lies, but that's because I used a certain phraseology that they don't like, which is, I said how to make a mob spawner, when I meant to spawn a farm. I ended up changing the title of the video because enough people were accusing me of deliberately lying, but everybody calls those mob spawners. It's completely generic usage. Anyway, but for the most part, I've always tried to be completely honest in my videos, my tutorials, and I always try and be no longer than they need to be. So they're always as long as it just would take me to explain. I've never lengthened a video to help it hit an ad break or anything like that. And so I'm actually really proud of those videos when, like, for example, my most successful video is a video about how to find diamonds. And it's not the most successful video about how to find diamonds on YouTube. There are other people who have imitated those videos since. and other people who made videos about finding diamonds before, and other people who've just made videos about finding diamonds since, but there are people who specifically have completely copied that video. Someone once just stole that video, which is a weird thing, re-uploaded it to their own channel, which was funny, and it got like 18 views. But one of the things I'm really proud about with that Minecraft tutorial, that how to find diamonds tutorial, is at the time I made that video, it was the shortest video about how to find diamonds. Nobody else had one up that I had seen. I'm sure someone could go and find one. But of the big ones, and for a long time, it had a million views, and it was still one of the shortest. And that's my criteria with making tutorials. I'm not always very good at explaining the things, because I'm sometimes half figuring them out myself. Sometimes I think I do a good job. I think my mending video was really good. But I don't ever want the tutorial to be compromised by the... Oh, interesting. We're going to need to widen this out. That's fine. We've got more to do on this side. I can do that. I don't ever want the tutorial to be compromised by the desire to make it more profitable. Because my personal view, and I've talked about this before, my personal view on YouTube is you don't have to kind of cheat to make money. I think YouTube is really good in that if you make a good video that is good content and people like it, for the most part, it will do better in the long run. Like, if you look at the YouTubers that are all really successful YouTubers, they're not the ones that are always making gimmicks for cash. Right? They just aren't. They just don't work like that. Maybe a little bit of the clickbaiting. And so I got really tired of YouTube channels that did that kind of stuff. So whenever somebody tells me they like my tutorials, genuinely, I always get really happy because it means that I helped someone and I got the video in front of someone without the cheating, I guess, that I think a lot of people do. I'll tell you one time I really didn't like it. Oh, thank you, Terrence. I really appreciate it. I'll tell you one time when I really knew that I was that I wanted to keep making tutorials. Not that it's like a calling or anything, but it's when I really wanted to keep doing it. I'll talk about two channels. One, there is a guy, and I know him. He's a nice guy. We've talked about tutorials and stuff before. But one of the things he does on his channel is he makes tutorials and then updated videos. Like, I've thought about doing this. I've thought about making tutorials on subjects I've already covered because they've done well on the channel and saying, look, this is how you do it this year. But I just can't bring myself to do it because often it's the same information. Maybe I will. Like, I don't think that's an ethical thing. If I make a tutorial and it's the same subject, but I say, hey, look, here's how you do it this year. By the way, it's the same as last year. Like, I don't think that's an immoral choice. For me, it seems pointless. But that's something you might see me do one of those days as like a business thing. To be like, hey, I showed you how to make diamonds 2 years ago. I'm going to show you again. It's the same video. Yay! Right? Because if it works, there's nothing immoral about that. People are still getting the video they were promised. But one of the things he does is he makes kind of... I'm not going to name names because he's a genuinely nice guy. It's just YouTube. But one of the things he'll do is he'll make a tutorial and then it'll be how do you do such and such a thing? And then the answer to the video is, sorry, you can't. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I think that one is a little bit misleading. But there's another YouTuber, and I will name him because I think what he does is terrible. And it's like ice cream? Or is it ice cream? No, it's ice cream. Anyway, he makes these tutorials, and they're terrible. I watched one because I was looking into how to do... I was trying to learn about capes. Because people have been asking me if I could do a tutorial about capes. So I was like, well, I guess I better learn about capes then. You know, well, sure, why not? And I watched one of his tutorials. And I will sometimes watch tutorials that other people do before I make my tutorial. I don't plagiarize tutorials, because I always do them off the cuff. But sometimes I need to learn to do a thing, right? And I will usually look for other people's tutorials And I'll try and see, like, okay, what did they explain where I ended up more confused? And what did they explain that was absolutely very helpful? And what did they do in the video that has nothing to do with the explanation but was annoying, right? So, like, if I have to watch a video about how to find sweet berries, and the video is 15 minutes long, I made a video about sweet berries, and I think it was, what, 3 minutes long? Because that annoyed me. Like, if I want to find out a piece of information, I would rather get it in the time it takes to give me it. I don't want... Like, no offense, other YouTubers, but your career is not my responsibility, right? So if I'm Googling for a piece of information, it's because I want that piece of information. It's not because I want to help your channel. So structuring the video like that annoys me. My personal theory about the tutorials is, if I make videos that don't have any of those annoyances in, sometimes my own annoyances creep in, but specifically the padding them for length, then I will gain the views from the people who will not sit and watch a 15-minute video for something that doesn't take 15 minutes to explain. That's my point of view. So I do watch other tutorials before I do things. I want to see where they're going wrong, where I think they could be explaining things better. I never plagiarize content. I don't ever take their words, except in cases where their words are, the thing cannot be explained through any other words. And, I still don't take it, that's just a fact of language. But I do specifically look for weaknesses. So I watched this tutorial, and it says how to get capes in Bedrock Survival, no mods, right? And I watched the tutorial because I'm like, oh man, this doesn't seem to be possible, but he says no mods. Is he going to show a way to, like, make a funky cape, or what is it, right? And he starts off the video, and he says, I'm showing you this, no mods, this is how we go, and and he talks for ages, and he talks about capes, and he's talking about 15 minutes before he goes through it, and he keeps repeating that. I'm going to show you how to do it, no mods. And he's using captions, right? He's using captions and subtitles, because subtitles are searchable. So he's got captions in. So the reason he's repeating it in dialogue is, this is a trick about YouTube, right? If you want someone to find a YouTube video, in the voiceover, repeat the thing that people are likely to be searching for over and over and over again, right? And then give your video subtitles, because the video can be searched. Those subtitles are searched on YouTube. If I make a video, right, and I call it dog, and I make the thumbnail a picture of a dog, right, and in my tags I just put dog, but then in my captions I say, this is how to get Minecraft for free. This is how to get Minecraft for free. This is how to get Minecraft for free. Someone searching for how can I get Minecraft for free will see my video. It will turn up in those search results. It's part of how YouTube works. So he's repeating the dialogue over and over and over again. He's saying it. He's spending about 15 minutes to get the ads up. He's talking about contests, so people keep watching. And he's saying stuff that sounds like he's getting to the tutorial, and he's doing stuff on the screen that looks like it's relevant, even though it's not. And then right at the end of the video, he installs a mod. And he goes, and there you go, that's how you get capes. And then he shows a little bit of footage at the end of him running around with his cape for about 5 minutes afterwards. And that's very deliberate too. What he's doing there is, so people who skip to the end will see him running around in a cape, right? So they're like, well, he's got a cape, and at the beginning he's saying no mods. And then the actual tutorial's sort of buried. So if you're trying to skip around, you'll skip past it, right? Because he wants you to see as much of the video, and he wants you to get it in there. But his whole video is a lie. The entire premise of the video is something you can't do in Minecraft, or not in Bedrock. And when I watched that video, I mean, this is dishonest, right? It's deliberately getting people into the video for money. This is the thing. There's no part of this is attempting to help people. It's a deliberate setup. He knows he can't help people. He knows he doesn't want to have what they're looking for. He's deliberately constructed the video as kind of a trap. The trap is you lure people in thinking that you can tell them something you can't tell them. And then he deliberately designed the video. It's not just clickbait. This is the thing. Clickbait is one thing, right? Where you go, hey, I made it, and then, by the way, I don't have it. it's not just clickbait or a clickbaity title, because sometimes people can be really hysterical about clickbait in a way that's really dumb. It doesn't matter as much as people think it does. Particularly people who don't like clickbait when it's just like, oh, hey, look, I discovered something really neat, right? And then you don't tell you what it is. Yeah, it's clickbait, but that's a very harmless, not that big deal kind of clickbait. But this thing, it's not just clickbait. It's a deliberate algorithm trap. So the idea is it will rise up the ranks because it's something people are going to search for, and then once you get into the video, it is explicitly designed in a way where, in trying to find out whether the video actually has your information by skipping around, it's designed to trick you further and further. And a lot of his tutorials are like that. And after I saw that, I was like, I am going to carry on making tutorials, because that's gross. And so I promised I would never make a tutorial like that. Even that one tutorial of mine that people think is clickbaity, because it's called How to Make a Mob Spawner, and I changed the title because so many people were getting confused. I say right at the beginning, you can't make the actual spawner block in survival. It's not possible. It's the first thing I say. But, yeah. I hate tutorials like that, and I do not like YouTubers like that. Let's see. Tiny Basic says, I dislike tutorials which use all the mods. I'd rather know something in the original game if that's what I'm searching for. Absolutely. I don't mind if it's labeled as a tutorial for mods, right? If they're upfront about it, that's a totally different thing. That's someone making a tutorial for a mod. That's okay. But yes, the people who set up a tutorial and it's masquerading as something you can do without a mod, those are bad people. Alright, let's get my rails. Hello to M&R Developments, how you doing? Dogan says, people like watching short, simple, and high-quality tutorials like yours. I do sometimes worry about my tutorials. Actually, my next tutorial, by the way, that I have on here is the shortest tutorial I've ever made. And the reason it's so short is because it's so simple and it's just something I like doing. And I'm trying to get back in the habit of making the tutorials regularly because I've been off the habit. So I told myself that one thing I'm going to let myself do is I can use the first idea for a tutorial I get after I've done. So I have a session of making tutorials once a month, unless there's an update. And I'm trying to make like a big, clever one, which is why my last one was about nether tunnels. And then I told myself, look, once you've done the big one that takes a lot of research and time and recording and stuff like that, your next one can just be, okay, first idea that pops into your head, do it. I'll tell you what it is if you're interested. It's how I make those little chairs, which I know lots of people make little chairs like that, but I thought it would be funny to just make a very quick tutorial. So it's like 30 seconds, I think. It's very short. It's going to be under a minute, I think. And I'm posting that today. I haven't edited yet. I've recorded the footage, but I'm going to post that today. I'm not going to make that one a member-only video, because it seems a little cheeky, making a member-only video, a 30-second video, but we had the big nether tunnel one this month, so that's fine. But yeah, I like tutorials like that, and I'd like to make more of that, like tutorials where it's just, hey, you want to know how to do this? Look, bam, done. But I do worry about it, like, I'm not sure they're all so successful, you know? Tiny Bazooka says they're almost never labeled, though. No, absolutely, they really aren't. It's a real shame. Because it's kind of cheating. And it makes it very difficult to compete with that, you know? But I like making tutorials, and I like that process to the point where I've actually been thinking about, just as like a job thing, making a different a different YouTube channel, not for Minecraft tutorials, but for like non-gaming tutorials, specifically like software I use. So I use different pieces of software, Manga Studio. I've used Blender, or like I've been thinking about learning to use Click Team Fusion again, which I really enjoyed learning to use a few years ago, to make little games, and I thought it'd be fun to to maybe go into that and make tutorials for that, because it's such a... What's really nice about it is, if you know what you're doing, the type of content is actually relatively easy if you want to keep it simple and you're not trying to cheat and stuff like that. But it's actually really rewarding content because you are helping people. You know, I know, like, Minecraft's not the most noble cause in the world. You know, I'm not changing the world by teaching people how to make little chairs in Minecraft, but it's nice. You know, someone came looking for something and you were able to help them. And it's nice to be like, when I used to do, when most of my income from YouTube used to come from donations, which is still, if people donate, it's very kind, I appreciate it, thank you, all that usual stuff. But it always felt weird to me because it's like, well, this is people giving me their money for just playing games, right? It's a weird feeling, I think. But the feeling of being like, well, I made enough money to pay my rent last month from making little videos that helped people figure out something they were trying to do, is very rewarding compared to donations. Donations always feels... It makes you feel indebted to people, in a way. But making it from ad revenue from a video they made that helped someone, I think it feels very, very refreshing. I like that a lot more. Do I stream on Twitch too? No, I don't. I used to, but I stopped using it in the end. I think if I was starting a channel from scratch that was for streaming, I might start on Twitch. Like, so I've been learning French recently, and I've been thinking about doing a series called Let's Play en Français, which is, for a long time I've been thinking about doing that, which is a series of French, basically playing games in French, to practice my French, doing live streams in French, and building a different audience and talking to people and things like that. But I don't think my mainstream audience would be interested in that, because most of my audience don't speak French, or at least don't seem to. So I'd probably set up a Twitch channel for that. That was a completely separate thing. Or maybe a YouTube channel, I don't know. But so if I was starting something from scratch, I would probably do that. I would probably do that on Twitch. But yeah, these days I'm so much more established on YouTube that it makes more sense to just dig into YouTube and push that way, I think. Alright guys, I think it's probably time for me to finish up there. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Tomorrow we'll come in and lay down the rail. And then I'd say and plant the trees. And then I'd say that's done, basically. I think we're done with this road. We've got a little bit towards the other end to do, but we can do that when we return to the village. And then about halfway down this road, we're going to build a house that's going to be sort of in the middle. And it's going to there's going to be an interesting question here as to, am I going to build a desert house? Which will be weird. And, will it be too far away from everything? But it's going to be on a rail, so that'll be nice. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. I appreciate you being here as always.